I want to take you back to a Pete Buttigieg conversation on Jubilee with different people who were not wanting to vote for Democrats before the 2024 election, and just show you, because I stumbled across this, was recirculating, and someone posted it saying, it's stunning to go back and look at the conversations that were being had right before the election and the number of people who made the difference in this election. Going, what? Why are you saying Trump's going to go after free speech? Why are you saying that Trump's going to increase prices with bad tariff? Why? You're being so hyperbolic, you have Trump derangement syndrome. And I think this conversation kind of illustrates just, it wasn't that she had some extensive argument about how here's the things I think Trump's going to do that are so great. And here, it was just kind of like a, why should I care? Because Trump's not going to be that bad. And now that we've lived through 6 months, and he started to do all the things we were most hyperbolically, at least perception-wise, warning of, I think it's important we circle back. So here was a part of his conversation with one woman.
Americans will have more rights and freedoms under a Harris-Walz administration.
I'm shocked that you would make that claim. I think I would love to know what the basis of that is, some specific examples, starting with freedom of speech.
Sure. Okay, let's start with freedom of speech.
So her vibe there, right, of going like, really? Name one. And Pete's like, okay, sure. And that was I'm sorry. I just, sometimes I want to give too many takes and then you don't even get to watch the clip. I'm going to start over. I'm going to play it and then I'm going to give my take. Sorry. Click the subscribe button. I appreciate you.
Americans will have more rights and freedoms under a Harris-Walz administration.
I'm shocked that you would make that claim. I think I would love to know what the basis of that is, some specific examples, starting with freedom of speech.
Sure. Let's start with freedom of speech. So Donald Trump has said that he wants to revoke the licenses of television networks that have broadcast coverage that he disagrees with. I can't think of a more direct attack on the freedom of speech than a government official or a wannabe government official saying, I want to punish a television network because of their journalism, right? So that's how I feel about free speech. There's also more personal rights, a woman's right to choose, my right to have this ring on my finger, that I feel are much more secure if she's in charge than if he's in charge.
And the evidence you have of Donald Trump being against gay marriage or wanting to roll back protections for gay folks to be married is what? Okay,
so that moves on to another topic. So what I was saying before is you have that attitude that I try not to be mad about it, but it's just a sentiment from people who assume that business as usual, our day-to-day political discourse, can't possibly be as seemingly hyperbolic as many liberals sounded. As I sounded. Even if they were just looking at what Trump was saying, what he was promising to do, his track record, and saying this could be really bad. And so he hasn't revoked the license, but he has gutted, him in Congress, PBS, NPR's funding. He has attacked, for political purposes purely, he has attacked just what we've covered. I'm going to try not to go through the whole spiel because you've heard it so many times, but you can see past videos if you're just stumbling across this for the first time. With just what he's done with Paramount. By itself is substantiating Buttigieg's argument, which is a clear intent to punish media entities until they cave. And it's a chilling effect. I was just hearing a New York Times reporter talking about his whole life, decades in DC. He's never seen the level of fear in media rooms, at law firms, in general in DC about doing anything that could piss Trump off. And so people aren't in many institutions reporting like they used to because they know you could be the next CBS Paramount story where he attacks your business to force you to settle a lawsuit with him and admit defeat and change your coverage. And so to see him doing that and to think back on those conversations where people really would, in my personal life, be like she said, really? Could you substantiate? I mean, you really think he's going to go after free speech? And then for him to be doing it in so many overt ways is something that we should reaffirm. Now, they brought up gay marriage there. Just while we're on the topic of gay marriage, I just thought you guys should... What's the argument here? Okay? Let me just say it this way. In a world where I just saw a right-wing group saying it's not a matter of if or when the Obergefell decision is overturned by the Supreme Court, protecting same-sex marriage nationwide. And so that very much plausibly could be in the future. But if anyone's ever like, why should we have gay marriage? I got the clips for you. All right. You play this for them. They're convinced. Ready, set, go.
Right. Love is good.
My dad we saw two men kissing one another in Rodney Square when I was going in to get a license. And I looked at him and he said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other.
That's it. That's how.
I just love his origin story with that. It's so Joe Biden. Why, Mr. President, what's important about protecting gay marriage? I was walking down the street, I saw two guys kissing. They're dressed real nice, real hot guys. I was like, you could get any pussy you want. Why are you doing this with a guy? I looked at my dad and said, what the hell did you do? They're such good looking guys, they could do anything they could get a blowjob in the back of their mom's car. And he said, simple, Joey. They love each other. Man, woman, woman, people deserve to bone. He said this. Joey, they deserve to bone if they want to bone. Convinced. I had an extreme right-wing family member, and they said, I don't even want to have my marriage with my wife if the gays start getting married. And I was like, really? And then I played that clip for him. He said, I get it. And now this has come up multiple times.
Is beyond disappointed that there hasn't been a wedding yet. But Cardi B is going to marry us, apparently officiate our wedding, which would be nice. But my question for you, Mr. President, is you codified support for same-sex marriage and interracial marriages like ours. I'm curious what your evolution was like on marriage equality and what the federal government might be able to do to protect LGBTQ Americans, especially trans kids who are dealing with all these regressive state laws that are popping up right now.
I can remember exactly where my epiphany was.
Okay.
I hadn't thought much about it, to tell you the truth. And I was a senior in high school, and my dad was dropping me off. And I remember about to get out of the car, and I looked to my right, and two well-dressed men in suits kissed each other. I mean, they gave each other a kiss. And then one looked like he was heading to the DuPont building, and one looked like he headed to the Hercules Corporation building. And I'll never forget, I turned and looked at my dad. He said, Joey, it's simple. They love each other. It's simple. No, I'm not joking. It's simple. They love each other.
Not figuratively, literally. I love this part.
The DuPont building, one looked like he headed to the Hercules Corporation building. And I'll never forget, I turned and looked at my dad.
I love that. Him telling it to him, like, I looked at my dad. I saw these two guys kissing. I looked at Dad. I said, what the hell? And he said, simple, Joey. And I went, oh, okay. Yeah, now I always try to be fair. Biden was earlier than a lot of people to supporting same-sex marriage, which is something he should get credit for. And it's, been circulated that his decision to come out in favor of it when he was vice president kind of helped to get the ball rolling with the Obama administration to kind of support it more forwardly. But it's really only recently that even Democrats unanimously supported the issue. But I did see in response to that story, right-wing accounts going, was that your epiphany when you were 16? Because there are clips you look a little older than 16.
The president used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
Think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
But Joey, what about the two nicely dressed guys who kissed each other and then went into that building and the other building, and you looked to your dad and you said, what the hell happened with that? And he said, it's simple, Joey, it's love. I think you're older than 16 in that clip. No, hey, I get it. This is actually a really good example. You got to let people develop. In the world at that point, it was politically tough, I guess, to come out strong on that issue. And then people shifted their opinions. And we won, on that, we won the culture war. That debate, we now have a clear majority of support for same-sex marriage, even now in MAGA world. And so we, explained and we compelled people to a more reasonable argument, or at least I think so. So I don't actually blame him for that. I think it's fine. And it's a cute story. The hell, Dad? What the hell am I looking at?